And we're live for Sunday Service, episode number 28. UFC 308 recap. I'm going to let some people get in before we jump into everything, but holy, what a night. What an afternoon, I should say. What an evening. Could not believe that Topuria actually knocked out Max Holloway. I didn't think with the new gloves that was going to be possible. But bro, the power of Ilia Topuria is nothing to be messed with. Nobody can beat that man. And how about Khamzat going in there and mopping the floor with Robert Whittaker? If he was going to win, that's probably how it was going to look. So it didn't really shock me, but what did shock me was how quickly Whittaker tapped to that. And then we found out later is because his teeth were like smashed in, which is nuts. A lot more to go through on the card. Ankalaev, snoozer of a performance, but probably still going to get a title shot. Shara Magomedov, big KO. Big KO from Shara. Lerone Murphy stays undefeated. What a card. What a card overall. I mean, realistically, we had two title eliminator possibly with Whittaker, Chimaev, and Ankalaev Rakic, and then we had a real title fight. So big fights went down last night. Mike Wojo in the YouTube chat, what's going on? Patty saying he beats Topuria is hilarious. No doubt about that. Holy dude. The level of delusion. I don't think he actually believes it, though. Hell of a pay-per-view card. You think Ilia could go up and beat Islam? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think he would give him a tough fight because his base is wrestling and grappling. He just doesn't even use it. He just knocks dudes out. I think he could give him a tough fight. But, you know, Islam's going to be favored over pretty much anybody, no matter who it is. I hope nobody was watching that Bears game, boys. If anyone was watching that Bears game that just ended, let me know in the chat. I'm sick to my stomach. Okay, I had a bet on the Bears. Bears money line, plus money. They're down 12-0 in the third quarter. I live bet them at crazy odds. They score a touchdown. I live bet them again at plus 500. They get down to the goal line. They fumble. They give it to the O-lineman. They fumble. They get the ball back. I live bet them again. They score. I got crazy live bets on the Bears. 2 seconds left. Jaden Daniels drops back to pass. There's a holding. Clear holding penalty that they didn't call. They didn't call it because they didn't think it was going to matter. Jaden Daniels chucked that thing up. And a Hail Mary touchdown. Walk off. My live bets at crazy plus money odds down the drain. It was disgusting. It was disgusting, boys. But I guess you just got to tip your cap. I'm more pissed that the holding penalty wasn't called because it was a clear holding penalty. But I know what the ref was thinking. He's like, it's probably not going to matter. Let me just let this play out. But it mattered. So that sucked. That sucked. I felt like that was in the bag. That was in the bag. But enough NFL talk. You're here for one reason, and that's to go over the UFC 308 card, which is one that will go down as probably one of the best cards of the year. Probably one of the better cards that's gone down in Abu Dhabi. I know Abu Dhabi has some crazy good cards, but that was a stacked card. One guy that has never been knocked out got knocked out. Massive fight. My favorite fight of the year. My favorite matchup of the year, Topuria and Holloway. And then Chimaev just getting all the aura back that was seemingly lost. He got it all back last night. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. This is the one time Dana should let them switch divisions. 2-man wrestlers. Let William fix the divisions. I don't know what that means, but okay. Don't ask me about NFL betting, brother. Sorry. Love the channel, man. I appreciate that, brother. Who is my fighter of the year? I think it 100% has to be Ilia Topuria. 100%. And I put out the post on my Instagram saying that Topuria was fighter of the year because he knocked out Volkanovski and knocked out Holloway Those are two of the best featherweights of all time. Two of the best featherweights of all time. He knocked them both out in 1 year. And people are like, this is rage bait. That ain't rage bait. Okay, I know what Alex Pereira has done. He's fought 3 times this year, 3 knockouts. He's saved pay-per-view cards, which is cool. But you got to look at the level of competition, bros. Level of competition has to play a factor in the wins. Like Khalil, that was a title shot that not many people really thought he should have been in there. It was a great performance, saved a pay-per-view, which is awesome. But it's Khalil Roundtree. That doesn't stack up with a Max Holloway or an Alexander Volkanovski, even a Yuri Prochazka. He's already beaten Yuri. So he just did what he's already done. And I'll get into that topic very soon, because we're going to talk about Ilia Topuria versus Volkanovski. I don't want it to happen. I don't think it should happen. And then his other win was Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill had been off for a long time, coming back from an injury. Knocked him out round 1. That's great. But just level of competition. Bro, to beat 2 of the best featherweights in the world and to knock them out in less than a year, in the same year, but in less than 12 months, is insane. It has to be Ilia Topuria. And if you think it's Alex Pereira, I think you're kind of just, you're on the poetard train, bro. Like, come on. I'm a big Alex Pereira fan too, but the level of competition is not similar. Volk and Max, 2 of the best of all time. Volk was the number 2 pound for pound, number 1 pound for pound fighter at the time. Max Holloway was ranked in 2 divisions in the top 15 of pound for pound. Jamal Hill wasn't. Yuri Prochazka wasn't. Khalil Roundtree wasn't. It's a lot different, bros. Come on. Topuria is the fight of the year, not Poatan. I agree, brother. Activity, you can't really just say activity. I also saw some type of argument that's like Ilia was refusing to fight for months. I don't think he wasn't refusing to fight for months. Okay, they had to allow Max time because he fought at 155. They had to allow him time to get ready to fight at 145. And they wanted it to be on the Abu Dhabi card because the Abu Dhabi card always has to be huge. They want it to be a big fight on the Abu Dhabi card. It wasn't like he was refusing to fight. The One-Eyed Russian made you money. Good stuff, brother. JT the GOAT, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the support. Thanks for tuning in. What are your takes for UFC 309? Main and co-main. Love the channel. My takes for UFC 309 is I hate the main event. I'm going to boycott it. Co-main is cool. I think Charles Oliveira gets it done. He's also going to fight again, so 4 times. He's not going to fight again, bro. He's not going to fight in December. Yeah, you're going to have to fix that, Willie. I couldn't understand you the first time. Holloway and Volk are better names than... Yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. Topuria for fight of the year. If Volk's chin hadn't been cracked 4 months prior, it played a part for sure. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But we also have to take into account that now that we've seen Topuria knock out Max, the chin thing with Volk, definitely there's the argument there, and I'm not going to deny it. But I think it still probably would have played out the same because he just knocked out Max, and he was landing whatever he wanted. So both belts will stay with Topuria for a really long time. Yeah, I don't know that he actually has the BMF belt. But nobody's beating him at featherweight. There's just nobody. Dana should let them switch divisions. Too many wrestlers. Let Ilia clean up the division of wrestlers. Dude, the fact that Ilia's base is like wrestling and grappling. He only had like 1 KO win before he got in the UFC. And now he just don't even care. He just goes in and knocks dudes out. And he's the best boxer in the UFC by far. That's not his fault. He took whatever Dana offered him many times on short notice, just going through the best light heavyweight fighters. Well, yeah, that's That's cool. That's cool. I'm not like faulting him for it. Not saying he could have fought somebody else. I mean, he probably could have fought Ankalaev, but maybe not. Yeah, bro. Like you fight who's in front of you, but to knock out the two dudes that are in front of you are Max Holloway and Volkanovski, bro. You can't beat that. You just can't. Khalil's a bum Apex fighter, and Yuri and Hill are some of the worst champs in recent UFC history. I agree with you on the latter. I don't think Khalil's a bum Apex fighter, but I do think Yuri and Hill are not the highest level of champions when it comes to UFC history. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Just think of like how they got their titles, you know? Yuri was getting his ass whooped by Glover and then just found a submission with 30 seconds left. Cool, but Glover is also 42 and didn't win a single fight after that. And then Jamal Hill beat Glover in his retirement fight when Ankalaev and Blachowicz went to a draw. It was kind of just like, here's the title fight. Here you go against Glover. So, and it was a good performance by Hill. Not to take that away from him because he dominated him, but circumstances, a lot different. What would I rate the UFC 310 card? I mean, 2 title fights, that's not bad. I want to go to that card in December. Maybe like a 6.5, 7. If I think 5 is like an average, I'd say it's a little bit above average. 6.5, 7. People got to think about scales. People always think scales as in like a 7 is bad. It's not bad. It's actually above average. 5 would be average. 1 out of 10. 5 is the average. So 7 is like a little bit above average. How strong is 145 division though? Ilia seems to have figured it out when he is fighting midgets. I mean, Max isn't a midget. Max is like 5'10", 5'11". But yeah, you're half kidding. That's cool. 145 is crazy good. It's crazy good. But I'd say like it's very hard for me to think who could beat Ilia Topuria. And I guess we could talk about that right now. Who is going to be next for Ilia Topuria? I don't want to see Volk in there again for a couple reasons. Volkanovski fought the perfect game plan to beat Ilia because he was winning until he wasn't. And for him to actually think he could go into the second fight, like, what is he going to change? Is he just going to have the same game plan? It's probably not going to work because Topuria does eventually close the distance and does eventually land those bombs. And when he has 5 rounds to do so, he's probably going to knock you out. I also don't like it for Ilia because I hate rematches. Like when the challenger beats the champion and then they just get a rematch. It's like, well, he's already beaten them. And I understand it from the Volk perspective of like he was a featherweight champion for a long time. He probably deserves it. But personally, I don't want to see it because I think Topuria just knocks him out again. So who should get it? Diego Lopez should get it. And I will say Diego probably has the best chance of beating Ilia Topuria right now. But it's a very slim chance. Because Ilia Topuria is most susceptible to lose in the first round. In the first round or early in the second round. Why? Because he's a fighter that downloads data. He likes to find his entries, find his spots. And that takes a little bit of time. And we've seen him get hurt or get touched up a little bit early on in fights. Max landed some good shots in round 1. And then we also seen him get dropped by the head kick by Jai Herbert. We saw him lose the first round of Volkanovski. Like, Diego Lopez is probably one of the most dangerous dudes in round 1 in the featherweight division. So if you're going to beat Ilia, I think you got to beat him in round 1. So who's the best guy to throw out there to possibly beat him in round 1? Would probably be Diego Lopez because he cracks. He's got a nasty ground game. But I don't think that Diego would beat him by any means. I think Topuria would probably smash him in the second or third, and it'd probably look pretty bad because Diego has power, but he's not the best striker, and he gets hit himself. So Topuria would probably put his lights out within 3. There isn't a single in their prime male fighter on main card of 309. That's facts. 309 is kind of whack, bro. Potam versus Magomed is going to show why styles make fights. You saying Magomed beats him? Volk gets slumped, yeah. DraftKings already has Conor versus Hooker. Obviously, Conor being minus 150. What are your thoughts on that fight? Well, I mean, it's a fight that's not really, it's not confirmed. So personally, I wouldn't even throw any money on it because it's just one of those fights that they have a matchup. They'll make a line and then they'll set a date to be like December 31st. And if they don't fight by that date, then they'll just refund your money. So personally, I wouldn't throw any money on those type of matchups just because you're putting your money into something that's probably not going to happen. And you're just losing money that you're putting money away that you could be using right now. The shot Ilia landed on Volt KOs everyone, no doubt about it, bro. Max still does technically have the BMF belt. That is facts. Apparently, Max wants to move up to 155. Apparently, sorry, I'm going to have to skip these chats because I'm going to ask a question to the chat. Chat. If Max moves up to 155, who would you like him to see? Because he's currently ranked like number 5 in the lightweight division. Personally, I think if Max wants to go to 155, he should fight the loser between Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Because those guys are both higher up in the rankings. Charles has already lost to Max a long time ago. Where he got injured, I think. And I'm not saying Charles is going to lose to Chandler. Maybe we could see Chandler versus Holloway. Or maybe we could just see Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway. But I'm assuming if Charles wins, he's probably going to want a title shot eventually. But I think Max versus Charles would be sick at 155 if Max wants to move up to 155. Hooker versus Max. I could also see Dan Hooker versus Max. Hooker's fought at 145 before. That wouldn't be a bad one. But I would rather see Moicano versus Dan Hooker, to be honest, because I want to see Moicano get a higher ranked guy. Charles Chandler winner would be fire. I agree. Could be the winner or the loser. Doesn't really matter. It probably depends on Charles' side. If he wins, does he want to fight Max? Does he want to hold out or whatever? Moicano versus Fiziev would be a banger, bro. No. Moicano doesn't want that fight, bro. He doesn't want that fight. It's already happened. Dustin said he did want Topuria or Max next. I wouldn't be mad about Max versus Dustin again, just considering there's been a good amount of time between their last fight. So that wouldn't be bad, but I don't think Dustin should fight Topuria. I don't think that should happen. I don't. I love me some Dustin Poirier, but I think Topuria would knock him out. How the fuck is Moreno still ranked number 2? Because I guess technically he lost to the number 1 guy, and it was a split. Why is Moicano challenging Patty still instead of fighting up in the rankings? Because Moicano wants money. And maybe they'll give him a good bag to fight Patty. Yeah, Max beat Charles already, but that was a long time ago, and Charles got injured. Max versus Chandler I'd be down with, though. Or Hooker. Max versus Moicano would be crazy. That'd be crazy weird. Did you see the judges' scorecards? I still can't believe 2 judges gave the first 2 rounds to Ilia. I think you're smoking crack if you don't think Ilia won at least one of those. Ilia was hitting him with some big shots. Like a lot of those shots that Ilia was hitting him with in the first couple rounds, very similar shots that he hit him with in the third. He just went down in the third because he'd already been hit like 10 to 15 times with those shots. That's what it is, boys. Max was landing some good shots too. But Ilia didn't get fucked, dude. He was just walking through it. You knew eventually he was going to land those big shots and Max was going to go down. Armin's going to get the next title shot, bro. Armin's going to get the next title shot. And we should probably see an announcement for that soon. Holloway Gaethje too. Come on, bro. We don't need to see Holloway Gaethje too. That was less than a year ago. I don't want to see that. Oh, I gotta get this water open. Who would I favor, Islam or Ilia? I mean, Islam would be the favorite, no doubt about it. I think I saw a line where Islam was like minus 400, which is pretty nuts. I would definitely bet on Ilia at plus 300. No doubt about it. I would put some money on Ilia at plus 300. Sean doesn't want that Ilia smoke. Nah, nobody wants that Ilia smoke, bro. Nobody wants that. Holloway Gaethje never happened. Give Holloway the title shot against Islam. Well, here's the thing. If Holloway does move up to 155 and say he beats a Charles Oliveira, then he could probably get a title shot at 155. So I think he should go up to 155 and fight a top guy like an Oliveira. Because he's already beat Gaethje. Gaethje's like number three or four. I do remember that. And it has aged very badly. Very, very badly. Islam Arman is basically confirmed for 311. Then Makhachev will have basically no one left at 155. What if Arman beats him, though? What if Arman beats him? I don't really see it happening, but it's possible. I mean, Arman gave Islam a very tough fight the first time. The rematch, a lot has happened. And Arman's had some solid opponents. So we'll see. Hear me out. Styles make fights. I'm thinking about Arnold Allen and Movsar Evloev. So if you're talking about Topuria would starch Arnold Allen and he would beat the piss out of Movsar Evloev. Okay? There's no doubt about that in my mind. You're a D1 Holloway Glazer and Islam beats his ass, I fear. Prob by sub. Yeah, I think so. Probably. He would just be so much bigger. So much bigger. Islam Arman trilogy would be fire depending on how the rematch goes. It would be sick if Arman beats him this time around, obviously. Shara versus Adesanya. Bro, there's no way they're going to give him Adesanya. There's just no way. Okay. They need Shara to work his way up the rankings because he still hasn't fought a wrestler. He's fought all kickboxers, really. And you can't really count Tricoli. I know Tricoli is more of a grappler, but Tricoli is just so bad that you can't even, it's not even a matchup there. Like, Shara just beat the piss out of him. Jean Silva versus Ilia. Not going to happen for a while. Jean Silva's not even ranked. But if he keeps working his way up, we'll see. But, you know, Ilia beats everybody at 145. That's just what it is. I don't even see anybody coming up. Now, let's also think about this. Because I think Ilia versus Islam would be a massive fight, right? Because you got Georgia versus Russia, which is huge. But I hate the fact that Ilia would have to be going up and fighting Islam at 155, where there's a clear discrepancy in size. It's clear. And you never see the Dagestani go up in weight where the guy he's facing is clearly going to be the bigger guy. You just never see it. Okay? So I was thinking, if Umar Nurmagomedov gets the belt, right? I mean, he's supposed to be the future champion. He's supposed to beat Merab Dvalishvili. If that fight happens and Umar gets the belt, what's stopping Umar from going up to 145 and fighting Ilia Topuria? Now, that's another Russia versus Georgia. That's another V versus a Topuria. Now, that's a fight that could be huge. That's a fight that could be that could be on the level of like an Islam versus Topuria. That's like a Conor versus Habib from Wish, from Walmart. Okay? I mean, Umar's undefeated. Topuria is undefeated. Undefeated versus undefeated. Yeah, Umar's not fighting Song. But, I mean, it probably won't happen for a while because Umar's probably going to have to defend the belt maybe once or twice before he moves up. But I would assume Ilia Topuria is probably still going to have the belt. So, Umar moving up to 145 to fight Topuria, I would be about that. But first things first, Umar's got to get the belt. And then we'll talk. But I think that would be sick. Because I hate, because like I think skill for skill, Topuria better than Islam. Skill for skill, Topuria is better than Islam. But he's going to have to move up a weight class where Islam is already a massive weight bully. Islam's just going to be so much bigger. Like Ilia is only like 5'6". He's like 5'6", 5'7". And Islam's 6 foot. Probably fights at like 185 pounds. That's just a tough ask. You know? It's a huge, huge ask. I mean, we saw how close Volk was to beating him the first time. So, I mean, there is the possibility. Islam might have better pure wrestling than Ilia, but we just haven't seen Ilia use his pure wrestling that much. Just hasn't needed to. But at 155, like, you know, Islam's going to be bigger, maybe a bit stronger. So the wrestling would probably go to the side of Islam. Where do you see Whittaker going after this? Kind of a stagnant division. And if Strickland gets the next shot, then who? Great transition there, Devin. Let's move on from the main event. Let's talk about the co-main event. Chimaev subbing Whittaker in the first. Shout out to Matty Betts, cashing the 100K parlay. I was there with him. He ran out the door to cash the 100 bands in cash. He put 20 grand on Topuria in the next fight. About the fight. Khamzat, if he was going to win, it was going to be in round 1 or 2. He was going to look dominant doing it. He went out there and he finished Whittaker. That's great. I don't think there's a world where Khamzat doesn't get the next title shot. I don't think there is. I think it's going to happen. I know Dricus wants the Khamzat fight. He wants the Khamzat fight. That's going to be a huge fight. Khamzat is a massive star. That's going to be a huge fight. Dricus is definitely going to be going for that. Khamzat's getting the next title shot. I know Strickland wants it. I know a lot of people want Strickland to have it. I don't see it happening. I think Chimaev's going to get the next title shot. He needed to go out there and finish Whittaker in dominant fashion. He did that. The UFC's all over it. The UFC has loved this guy for a long time. They're going to give him the next title shot against Dricus. So where does that leave Strickland? Where does that leave Whittaker? First of all, I thought Whittaker was going to be out for a long time because everybody was talking about how he broke his jaw and he was probably going to have his jaw wired shut for a long time. Apparently, that's not the case. Apparently, it just messed up his teeth. So I guess he made a video, so he was talking. Seems like he's okay. I don't think you can make Whittaker versus Strickland now. I mean, you could maybe still do it. But I think they're going to make Nasruddin Imavov versus Adesanya. I think that's a fight they're going to make. I don't know what they're going to do with Strickland. They could do Strickland versus Whitaker. But then you have Kyle Bahalio in there as well, who's another young guy that they probably want to bring up. I think you could make Whitaker versus Kyle Bahalio. That doesn't seem like a bad fight. That seems like a pretty solid fight for both guys and where they're at. And if Strickland wants to sit on the sidelines and hold out for the title shot, he could do that. That's kind of what he said he's going to do. I don't know if it's the smartest thing to do. If I was him, I would be pushing for the Whitaker fight. Get Whitaker while he's down and try to capitalize on that, get a win, because they're going to give the next title shot to Khamzat. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Dricus versus Khamzat's going to happen. So Strickland's kind of out of luck. Whitaker is an option for Strickland. Whitaker versus Bahalio makes sense. You could do, I mean, you're gonna have to match make Izzy with an up and comer. You're gonna have to match make Whitaker with an up and comer. Obviously, you can't do Whitaker versus Izzy again. That would be stupid. You can't even really do Izzy versus Strickland again. You could maybe do Strickland versus Whitaker because they haven't fought. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the middleweight division. Brother, you guys bring me in this short guys for again. I don't know what this dude is saying. Who's Shara Bullet fight next after double KO? He a beast. I think they give him a ranked guy, and I think they should give him Roman Dolidze. Okay, I think they should give him Roman Dolidze because I don't think Dolidze has much of a future in the middleweight division. The guy's old, but he's tough and he can wrestle a little bit. I don't know if the UFC wants to test his wrestling, but personally, I think they should. I don't think you should rush him up into the top 5 without testing his wrestling at all. So give him Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze, in my opinion, is not that good. I think Shara could probably piece him up from the outside. He's a lot faster. Dolidze is slow, doesn't have good cardio, but he could take him down. There's the threat of the takedown. In my opinion, that makes sense. Shara Magomedov versus Roman Dolidze. You get Georgia versus Russia there again. That would be a good one. Rob versus Kyle, I like that. That's what I was thinking, boys. Kyle versus Izzy. Could happen. Is it crazy to say I think Joe Pyfer beats Shara? It's not crazy to say. It's actually not. And when I was thinking about matchups, I was like, maybe you could make Shara versus Pyfer. But I don't think the UFC wants to clash the 2 stars they got. And I think Pyfer could probably put him out. Low key. I think Pyfer could put him out. Izzy was watching tape on Imavov. They most definitely are fighting in Australia. Yeah, probably. Shara versus Kevin Holland. I could see that too. I guess if they don't want to give him a ranked guy yet, I could definitely see that. Shara versus Bo Nichols sells like crazy. They are not going to make that. They are not going to make that whatsoever. Paulo Costa, maybe. I'm scared to ever touch Shara on a betting slip. I don't know why these guys don't just try to poke him in his good eye. Like, he literally just has one eye. Why wouldn't you just inadvertently stick your fingers in his other eye so that he can't fucking see? You know? And it's not like he's going to pull out because he can't see. The dude can only fight in the Middle East. So if he's in a fight, he ain't going to pull out for anything. He's the only place that he can fight. Where even is Crafty Vet Hermanson? He just fraud checked Joe Pyfer, then dipped. Yeah, I don't know what that guy's doing. He fights like 1 time a year. Is Max's chin done? Good question. I think it probably could be. And I said this in the buildup to the fight. Maybe it was on Sunday Service last week, but I definitely said it in my my breakdown. Max Holloway has had a lot of miles on that chin. He's taken a lot of shots over the years, and it's held up. It's held up well. But once it goes, sometimes it's gone. Once it gets cracked once, you can't put it back together. We kind of saw that with Volkanovski. He gets cracked with that head kick. Next fight, lights are off. Like the head kick. If you watch the head kick when he got hit, knocked out by Islam, like he got wobbled, right? He got wobbled. He stumbled down to the ground. Islam came in, followed up with some shots. The next fight against Topuria, as soon as that right hand connected, lights were off. It was done. I know he came back fairly quickly, and I hope Max doesn't come back fairly quickly. But like I said, once it's gone, or once it goes, sometimes it's just gone. So I hope his chin is not done, but there is a very high possibility that could be true. They're giving Bo Whitaker next? No, they're not. No, they're not. If Bo beats Paul Craig, you think Fluffy versus Nickel is the ideal matchup? I don't know, dude. I don't even know what their plan is with Bo. If they're, because like they're giving him Paul Craig, and Paul Craig can't hurt anybody. Like they need to give him somebody with some solid takedown defense that's actually going to like force him to strike a little bit. He hasn't really had to strike with anybody. Like when I think about Khamzat's rise, like Khamzat was super dominant, right? And then he fought Gilbert, and Gilbert made him strike with him. And Khamzat didn't look bad, but it was a close fight. I think Bo needs a type of fight like that where he just can't take people down at will. You know, like if he beats Paul Craig and then he gets thrusted into the top 15 of the middleweight division, that's only what, his 8th professional fight? Like I know Bo's a good wrestler, but he's only been doing MMA for like a couple years. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Who do I got? Chimaev or DDP? That's a tough one because DDP is my boy. But I mean, it's kind of just the same thing as the Whitaker fight. Like if Khamzat wins, it's going to be in round 1 or 2, and he's going to look good doing it. But if he doesn't, then DDP is going to take over. So it's one of those fights, man. I guess I would probably go with DDP just because I think he could match some physicality. And he's a big motherfucker. And DDP did Whitaker like that too. I mean, he took him down, beat him up, knocked him out. So I don't know. I'd probably say DDP just because of the cardio, the experience, the match, and the physicality. Here's the thing. I don't think they want Shara as a champ or top contender because I think commissions won't allow that. Yeah, I kind of agree. They just want him to put on fun fights, honestly. Keep that undefeated record, knock out some guys that can get knocked out and look good doing it. Once the GOAT chins get cracked, they don't come back. That is just so true. Cody Garbrandt, not that he had like some crazy good chin, but he was undefeated. Got cracked and it never came back. Also, Ilia Islam super fight. Who you got? I would bet on Ilia at the plus 300 odds, but I outright pick. I'd probably say Islam. Max just needs one good performance against a guy like Oliveira. He's back to the title shot against Islam. That's what I said. I agree. Max wasn't out cold though, you know. I feel like if he takes the right amount of time to recover, he can come back as an issue for 155. Yeah, brother. I kind of went through this with the Volk example. If you watch Volk get knocked out by Islam, he didn't go out cold. He didn't go out cold initially. But when he went out against Ilia, he went out cold. So the first initial knockout, you might not go out cold. The second one could happen. I do think 155 is the better option for Max, though. I agree. I think he could come back at 155. Appreciate that, John J. How's dad life treating you? It's very, very rewarding. Very rewarding. Not a ton of sleep. Been grinding the work. Been trying to be there as a father and take care of everybody. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I know Gilbert's your guy, but Chimaev could take him down at will. It's the BJJ that he feared. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you can match the guy on the ground, then you gotta. It's not even like Gilbert had great takedown defense. Like, you're right. Like Chimaev, I think Chimaev went like 2 for 3 on takedowns. Obviously, he could take him down, but Gilbert's guard is too active. He couldn't really hold him there, and he was a little bit scared to be in that guard. So that's kind of what I mean. DDB has been taken down by Brunson, Tavares, and even Rob. Khamzat will demolish him. That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, if he wins, it's going to be in round 1. Am I going to cover next week's card? Of course. I already got my early picks out on the YouTube channel. Go check that out. Once the live is done, all my early picks are up. But the official picks will come out on Wednesday. That video is to get you guys familiar with where my head is at on every single fight on the card. Check it out. Who could be the fighter of the year, Alex or Ilia? It's Ilia, bro. We already went over that. But thanks for tuning in and thanks for the chat. Does Mauricio Hoofy beat who the fuck? I don't know who the fuck that is. I see now. Max, I thought it was like some kind of abbreviation. Max was as close to outcode as you can get without being flatline. That's facts. Weekly routine from the Jewish Better to see your early picks video, then see you are live every Sunday. I appreciate that, JB. Let's have a big week this weekend. We got a ton of fights on the card. A lot of Canadians. Last time the Canadians were in Canada, we know what happened. They all lost, except for the women. Gilbert won that fight, that Khamzat fight. That is crazy to just think about. That like Gilbert's giving him his toughest fight. DDP will get ragdolled and beat up before he wins somehow. Imagine that. Imagine Khamzat just like beating the piss out of him and DDP just looking like retarded like he does a lot of times. And then DDP just like clips him with some stupid ass punch, jumps on his neck, and chokes him out. That would be amazing. Oh my God, I would love that. I would love that. Yeah, I saw his jaw. It was disgusting. That actually looked so gross. Initially, I was like, "Oh my God, Rob's a bitch. How did he tap to that?" Because it was like an instant tap. An instant tap. I was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Like, did Whitaker just like piss the bed and tap?" And then you see the picture after, and you're like, "Okay, yeah. I would have tapped probably 5 seconds earlier than that." So, Denise versus Lewis will be a banger. It will be a banger. We'll see who wins. Does anyone in the chat even care about Ankalaev? Do I need to go over his fight? Personally, I was very underwhelmed, as every time I watch a Magomed Ankalaev fight. Very underwhelming. Dana said if he has a good performance, then he'll get the next title shot. And he goes out there, drops the first round to Rakic, and then beats him the next 2 rounds. But it really wasn't some type of domination. Does anyone care? Good Lord, dude. I hate Ankalaev, bro. I hate his fight style. It's so boring. I hope to God if he actually fights Pereira, that Pereira just sleeps him. I hope Pereira sleeps the living piss out of that guy. The worst part about it is like they're gonna make the fight because there's nobody else. Like who else are you gonna throw Pereira at this point? He fights so often. He's already fought Yuri twice, beat Jamal Hill, beat Khalil Roundtree. He's already beaten Jan. Like, who are you going to throw at him? Nobody else is really cracking on the door. I guess you got to give him Ankalaev. And, I hope Pereira just sleeps him, bro. How do you love Ankalaev? How do you love watching that? He literally just sits there, moves around, left hand. Moves around, leg kick. Moves around, jab. Moves around, check hook, misses. So boring. He doesn't take any risks. I really think he has pillow fists. You look at anybody that he's knocked out, his knockouts are literally like Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith, Iwan Kutalaba, Dolce Lungyambu. Like, he's knocking out straight bums. He's not knocking out anybody good. Okay, he goes to decision with Rakic, with Krylov, with Uzdemir, with Thiago Santos. Like, bro, he's not knocking out anybody good. He's just move around, left hand, leg kick. So stupid, bro. It's like, have some urgency. Come on. MMA fans switch up so much. Yesterday, Chimaev was a hype job with AIDS. Now he's the man. That's so true. So true. Alex could potentially drop Ankalaev if he doesn't use his wrestling. Yeah, I mean, Ankalaev, if he doesn't shoot a takedown, he's getting slept. Because he's skilled, somehow people seem to forget that half of Ankalaev wins are TKOs. Well, I just went over his TKO wins. Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith, Iwan Kutalaba, Dolce Lungyambula, all bums. Anybody that he fights that's actually decent goes to decision with, and it's usually a boring decision. So, fuck Ankalaev. He's probably going to be fighting Pereira next for the title, and I hope to God Pereira sleeps him. I hope to. I really hope. Anyone care about the Lerone Murphy-Ige fight? I'm sure many people think Ige won. Personally, I thought it was kind of a toss-up. Obviously, Ige won round 1 with the knockdown. Lerone won round 2. And then Ige had some top control in round 3, but Lerone landed a lot more in the round, and he put a stamp on it in at the end of the round 3, and I think Lerone probably won. But I'm sure a lot of you think that Dan Ige won. Dan Ige's a fan favorite. Dropped him in round 1. Some people still don't know how scoring works, where they don't know that the fight is actually scored round by round, which is baffling to me. But you know, they know it's scored round by round when they think Holloway won the first 2 rounds, but Ilia knocked him out. But they don't know that the fight is scored round by round when Dan Ige drops him in round 1 and then loses the next 2. So, yeah, I agree, Toad. I think Murphy clearly won round 3 on damage, but I do think a lot of people will think that Ige won the 3rd round just because he got a knockdown in round 1. Personally, I do think Murphy probably edged that one. When can you see Ilia back in the octagon? You think they're going to host UFC Spain? Good question. I bet you he'll fight within the first 4 or 5 months of next year. Right now they have January, I think, is going to be in like California or something like that. And that's probably going to be Islam. February is going to be in Australia. And I think that might be DDP. And then March might be like a Miami card or somewhere around there. And then April's usually in Vegas. Maybe they put him in Vegas or maybe the March card will be in Vegas. I don't know that they go to Spain right away because I don't know that they could turn it around that quickly. People on Twitter were saying Rob took a dive. Yeah, it kind of looked like that. I'm not going to lie. But obviously, after you see it, you see what happened. There's no chance we get that. There's no chance. There's no chance that they would put 2 big title fights on the same card. It's just no chance. Volk needs to fight 2 contenders, not Topuria in a rematch. I think it sucks for Volk, bro. It's just such a tough way to go out, too. That's just brutal. It's brutal, bro. Brutal sport. You're on top of the featherweight division for the longest time. And then this guy comes through. You want to challenge him up at 155. You almost beat him at 155 to become a double champ. You go back down to your weight class. You pick up another title defense. You take a fight on short notice to fight the same guy you almost beat. You get head kicked. First loss by finish, I guess, in the UFC. You turn around to take on the up-and-coming guy to defend your belt again, and you get brutally knocked out. And now the guy that you lost to in your weight class, your division for the longest time, is just unbeatable. It's a tough way to go out. Like, where does he go from here? Fuck Volk, man. Volk is that's just one of the saddest ways to go out. And I know he doesn't think he's done, but bro, I hope he's not done. But I think he's pretty much done. Volk should fight Movsar and Aljo because those are incapable of danger. Yeah, that's what I said. I said he should fight Movsar. Movsar ain't gonna finish shit. All wins by decision. So I think he should fight Movsar. But then, like, if he beats Movsar, does he go fight Topuria again? It's kind of just a pointless fight at that point. Does anyone really want to watch DDP Strickland 2? I don't get how Strickland's next. Personally, I'd rather see DDP Khamzat. I think it would be a better fight. But yeah, Strickland fanboys will tell you differently. Not that I don't like Strickland, but I think Strickland is... He pulled off a huge upset. It was a close fight where he lost his belt. He beat Costa. It's cool. But Khamzat he did exactly what he needed to do against Whittaker. Got it done easily. And Khamzat's the guy that they want to be in the title picture. So, yeah. I mean, just think about it now, boys. We got V's. The V's are taking over. The V's are really taking over. Umar might take the bantamweight title. Islam has the lightweight title. Shavkat might take the welterweight title. Khamzat might take the middleweight title. If Ankalaev somehow if he wrestles Poatan, Ankalaev might take the light heavyweight title. The V's are really taking over. It's disgusting. Parlay Princess, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you for joining. And I appreciate the support. Could we see Holloway versus McGregor 2 now? I would love to see that, but I don't know that McGregor is ever going to come back. McGregor was giving out his betting picks last night. He bet on Whittaker and Holloway. Shocker. Did not go well. You know what I always notice? Any fighter. Shout out to James Lynch. James Lynch does the pros picks, where he asks, when he interviews fighters, he'll ask them about an upcoming fight. Who do they think is going to win? The fighters they always pick the guy that's been around the longest. I actually screenshotted it. Let me pull up these results. So from James Lynch's MMA Pros Picks, 53 people gave their pick for the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. 40 of those 53 picked Max Holloway to win. 40 out of 53. Only 13 were correct. From Whitaker versus Chimaev, there was 37 people that picked who they thought was going to win. 31 of the 37 people picked Robert Whitaker to win. So that's kind of what I think of when people are like, this fighter picked this fighter to win. That's got to mean something, right? I don't really believe that. Because a lot of times fighters will just pick fighters that have been around for a while, or maybe they have a personal relationship with. Same thing with DDP. I think there was only like 2 people that picked DDP to beat Izzy. Was that UFC 305? It was only like 2 people. I do feel bad for Whitaker's jaw as well. But I guess it's not as bad as we thought. It's not like a completely broken jaw. He doesn't have to get it wired shut. It's just like his teeth got displaced, which is nuts. Still nuts. Like, I almost think, like, I guess he said that his teeth have always been kind of loose. But, like, dude, a neck crank to just displace your teeth? That's crazy. Rest of the card, we already talked about Shara. Rafael Cerquera is dead to me. That guy is an idiot. Absolute idiot. Never want to see him again. Tough to see RDA go down like that with the injury. That sucked. But either way, it helped Matty cash the parlay, is what it is. Mateusz Rąbecki dogging it out against Orolbai. That was a crazy fight. One of the better fights of the year. Both guys got beat up. Both guys showed a hell of a heart. Made it to the scorecards. The right guy won. Rebecki won rounds 1 and 3. Abus Magomedov beat the fraud Bruno Ferreira. I've been saying Bruno's a fraud. All he has is big power. Outside of that, he's trash. Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett needs to get on Ozempic ASAP. Okay, the dude is 5'9", 260-some pounds. And we're supposed to take him seriously as a UFC fighter. Okay, I know Chris Barnett is a great guy. I know he's funny. I know a lot of people love him. His spirit is amazing. But this is your profession, brother. You could realistically be a lightweight. You're a heavyweight at 5'9". And that's cool. Like, you could do your heavyweight thing. Obviously, he's just like a freak show type of fighter. But bro, you getting snapping your leg or your muscle in your leg or whatever happened. It's a bad look when you're that fat. Okay. When you're that fat and you pull something or you tear something in your leg, people are going to say it's because you're fat. Not a good look. TKO loss. TKO obesity. Yikes. They did try to rob Rebecki, not going to lie. Out of the EVs, OVs, who do you think is the most entertaining / marketable? Probably Chimaev, bro. Probably Chimaev because he's very aggressive early. And he's never ever been in a boring fight. Never. Maybe you could say Shavkat, but Chimaev is a little bit more like he's just going to go at you from the jump. Like, Shavkat obviously has won all of his fights by finish. He's undefeated. But Chimaev speaks better English. He looks scarier. His social media is a little bit better. So I'd probably say Khamzat. Farid Basharat win, cool. Nardiev win, cool. Bruno Silva should just retire. The dude looked like he didn't even want to be there. And how about the Fakhretdinov robbery? Holy. Fakhretdinov probably could have lost that 30-27. That saved the V parlay. But honestly, bro, like Carlos Leal won that shit easily. There's no way that Fakhretdinov won. No chance. How good was the all male fighter card? It was pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. The only bad part is we didn't get any free over 2.5s. You know, we didn't get any free fights to go the distance. That's kind of nice from a betting perspective. But yeah, we got some women's MMA next week. Looking forward to it. You know, they gave Rebecca Orba a split decision based on round 3, which is literally just a rigged scorecard. Yeah, I agree. Rebecca dropped him. I don't know how he could have not won round 3. Thoughts on Ivo Aslan's TKO? I think Cerqueira's an absolute idiot. Shelled up against the fence. He didn't get dropped, but he didn't circle off the cage. Didn't really do much with what he had. Like, he could have threw a knee, could have clinched, could have shot for a takedown, could have done anything. All he did was just shell up against the cage. Crazy. SBE. Shout out to SBE. I hope you cashed some NFL slips today, brother. Appreciate that. And maybe I'll be back in Texas someday. Maybe. Still got some family there. Maybe if there's a UFC card out there, maybe I'll go out. But shout out to you. Maybe some coin in the NFL before. And I hope you had a big day. I know there was a couple big games because I know you like your ladders or your correlated plays. Maybe college was better. I don't know. Hopefully you made some coins. Thanks for the donut, though, brother. Obviously, if you're making a donation, you probably made some coin. What's up with Topuria's strength? Arab in the IG chat. Bro is strong. Strong as shit. Chris Barnett losing even when I know he's going to lose just to make me still sad about it. Facts. Tough to see the guy lose, but he's fat. Bet 15,000 on LSU. Sadly, they now have a long path to the SEC championship. Praying that they can win out now. Just want to hit a long shot on futures. That is facts, dude. Bro, I remember putting in the Jets Super Bowl ticket at the beginning of the year. That was a straight dono. But I liked where your head was at. The potential was there. The odds were there. And it was worth a little, like $100 to me. It was a dream. The dream is over. It's not technically over. It could still happen. They're 2-6 now? They got to win out, basically. We'll see. Jordan Beavis. Bovias in the IG chat. Thanks, brother. Hey, but I hit the Dr. V parlay, bro. Thanks, Papa. I just put 10 BCs. I'm broke, but still made 120. Hey, that's a good come up. $10 into $120. It don't matter how little you put on it. That's like a plus 1,000 payout right there. Plus 1,100. That's good stuff. It's good stuff. It is wild. The Jets can't win, especially after getting Devontae. It's just ridiculous. Fakhretdinov Leal decision was terrible. Terrible, bro. I thought Leal won easily 29-28, if not 30-27. The craziest part is the fight ended, and I didn't even stick around. I didn't stick around for the scorecards because I thought Leal won. I went downstairs at the Hard Rock to go get somebody to let him in because you got to get the key down from the hotel. I went down there to go let somebody in, and Matt calls me. He says, bro, they just robbed Carlos Leal. And I said, no way. He said, yeah, that one judge gave him a 30-27. So one judge gave Fakhretdinov a 30-27. And I said, That shit's rigged. All the Vs are winning tonight. There's no way they're going to let any V lose in Abu Dhabi after what just happened in that first fight. And that's exactly what happened. All the Vs won. You want to see Islam head kick? Low key, Rope Lord always coming in with the heat. If Islam and Ilia do fight, you got to watch out for that head kick, Ilia. You do got to watch out for that. Did he raise his hand? I wasn't watching, but that is nuts. That is nuts. 30-27 was straight up rigged. Straight up rigged. The worst part is, like, okay, let me just say, the 30-27, obviously I think Carlos Leal should have won, but that dude was juiced to the gills. That's got to be karma. That's straight up karma, bro. You seen the veins on that guy, the muscles on that guy, the acne on that guy's back. He was shooting up crazy juice in the back. He was definitely, there's no way he would have passed the USADA test. I don't know why they weren't testing that guy, but he was on some stuff. So it's only karma that he lost the decision. It's only karma. He did look like a naked mole rat, bro. Only karma. All right, boys. We went through the entire card. We talked for almost 30 minutes about the main event. Probably 15 minutes about the co-main event. A lot of stuff went down. I think we are going to call it there. I appreciate you all for joining. I'm going to go watch this Sunday Night Football game, kick back and relax. Check out the early picks video on the YouTube channel right now for next week's card. It's already out. I'll be back throughout the week with my official picks. Best bets video on Friday. If you watched the best bets video from last week, I think we swept. I think we went 3-0. So good little pickup there. Stay tuned for that. Appreciate y'all for joining. Till next time, hey, Jod Picks.